Have you ever been at a point where you stop and think about the expectations that have been placed upon you by other people in your family or in your environment, or even the expectations that have been placed on you by yourself, and thought, this is too much, that I can't continue doing these things or living by these expectations? Well, if you have, then in today's video, I want to talk to you about the weight of expectations. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jimmy Scott Jr. I am a certified life coach, a spiritual mentor, and a brother in Christ to you. And my whole purpose is to help you today to understand the weight of expectations and how to navigate that weight. So here, we're just going to talk about Unfiltered Reflections, where I'm just going to share with you, unfiltered, a little bit about my thoughts on expectations. Now, when I think about expectations, I often think about the things that people expect of me to do. And basically, I think about the elevation or the platform that people have placed me on because of their perception of me. Most people think the expectation of me is to be a specific type of person or to speak a specific type of way, sometimes due to the title that I have of being a licensed minister and a licensed professional life coach, sometimes due to my personality of how I treat people, and other different factors. People have a lot of expectations that they've already created in their mind for me. Now, I also have expectations of myself for my own personal goals. A lot of the expectations I have for myself is to do the best that I can to the best of my ability, and sometimes even give 120%, even more than 100% of what I can give. And I realize when you combine the expectations of people and the expectations you have for yourself and the expectations that you get from society, that is a very heavy weight to carry and live out day after day after day after day. And quite frankly, it can make you feel inadequate. It can make you feel as though what you're doing is not enough. It can make you feel that the goals that you have for yourself are not big enough, or they're not fulfilling enough with purpose and drive. And it can also make you feel that who you are as a person isn't enough for society. And that's a very heavy weight to carry when you start talking about expectations. And I want you to take away from this video the difference between healthy ambition and being ambitious to do things and having expectations for ambition, and then also stress and mismanagement of your mental health because of what someone else has put over you or what you've put over yourself that's really not realistic. Some of the expectations that we have that come from people aren't realistic, and some of the expectations that we have for ourselves aren't realistic and also aren't healthy. We shouldn't really have expectations that supersede some of the priorities in our life that make us live a life of unfulfillment, unhappiness, and quite frankly, just unhealthy. But we do. We continue on pursuing things and going after things that aren't conducive to our current situation. We continue on putting things in our minds and fueling fires of our imagination to live lives that, quite frankly, don't aid us towards the goals that we want. But because of the expectations that have been placed upon us, we do it anyway. And we continue to turn into people that we're not. Because when you're trying to live out these expectations, when that weight starts to crush a little bit, you tend to change. And you tend to change into a person that you yourself may not be proud of. So how do you deal with the weight of the expectations that you put over yourself and that society puts on you? Well, one thing that I have learned that I want to share with you here today is you need to be confident in who you are, and you need to be okay with doing your best. When you understand what your best is, then you understand how okay it truly is to do your best. When you understand that the expectations that someone else has of you shouldn't supersede the expectations that you have of yourself or the expectations that God has of you, then you'll start to understand a little bit more about how to be humble, how to love yourself more, how to cater your decisions and your goals a little bit more off of what other people expect of you. You'll then start to reevaluate the standards that you have for yourself. You'll then start to think more about realistic goals, strategic goals, goals that will help push you towards what you want, not just from what society wants of you, not just from what your friends want of you, not just from what your family wants of you. Now, when you start to do this, you will lose people in your life because you're not fitting into their mold anymore of the expectations that they have of you. Maybe they expect you as this type of friend in their life to be this specific type of person. And maybe that's just not the season that you're in right now, and you can't do that. Maybe your family expects you to be a specific type of person for the family and go in a specific route. Maybe they expect you to go to the NFL or the NBA, or maybe they have these other expectations of you that is just not what you want to do. And that's okay. You're going to lose people in your life, and you have to be okay with losing people because you don't fit the mold that they have created for you. But when you decide for yourself that you're going to live under your own expectations for what you have realistically, and the expectations that God has for you and planned for you, then you'll start to realize a little bit more fulfillment of life, and then the weight of those expectations won't be so heavy on you. 2, you have to slow things down. Slow things down with the race that you're trying to run in order to be successful. A lot of our expectations come from us wanting to win, us wanting to be successful, us wanting to achieve the thing that we set out to do. And we want to run to it in order to alleviate the weight of expectations from us. And so because some of these now are catered towards what we place on ourselves, we want to accomplish the thing as fast as possible so that we can add it to the resume to say, you know what, I expected this of myself and I did it in 1 month, 2 months, 1 year. Slow it down. It's heavy on you because you're trying to rush to the finish line so fast and not pace yourself. And so that's why it's heavy, because you're tired. Slow down. Life is not a race. Life is not a race. You're not racing against anybody else but yourself. So pace yourself. And then number 3, the expectations that God has for you is totally different than what other people have for you or even what you have for yourself. God has more grace over you than what you give to yourself. God has more mercy over you that he extends to you than what you extend to yourself. The expectations that God has is enough. Live for the expectations that God has for you, because he has placed them in his word for you to live by. And if you live by those expectations, listening to him, praying to him, bringing all of your troubles to him, walking with him, allowing him to guide your life, allowing him to tell you where to go, allowing him to tell you how to be. If you allow God to teach you and live by those expectations, then trust me, it will be enough for you. Unfiltered Reflections, I used to live by the expectations that society had placed on me. I went to school. I was expected to do well. I did well. It was stressful. I went to college. I was expected to graduate. I graduated. It was stressful. I got a job. I was expected to get a job. I got a job. Didn't like it. I got another job. Didn't like it. Got another job. It's expected of me to have things. I had things. They weren't fulfilling. It was expected of me to have things figured out. Even when I didn't have things figured out, it was still expected of me to do so. I still struggled. These are the things that weigh us down, especially when we fail. And I failed many times with not achieving the expectations that other people had of me and that I had of myself. But you know what? I came to realize none of that matters outside of me living according to God. Because when I trust in him and meet his expectations that he has for me, then life works itself out. And I don't have that weight on my shoulder to have to know everything and have everything figured out. So I encourage you today, if you are somebody who is dealing with the weight of expectations of being this type of person or doing these type of things, I encourage you to leave all of those worries at the foot of Jesus Christ today so that he can relieve those expectations for you. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up and hit the like button down below. And also share this video with someone who needs to hear these words today. Also, leave me a comment down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on the video. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can get more videos just like this one. I appreciate you for tuning in. I pray nothing but blessings and peace over your life as you continue to walk with me on this Christian journey. And I'll talk to you next time.